All right. How do you feel about mascot horror?
Wow, okay, just right out the gate.
No intro. We're just going straight for the frontal lobe here.
I mean, like, when it first came out, when, like, that first became a big thing, it was new and fresh, and I was like, ooh, this is interesting. Now I just really don't give a shit.
Oh, well, then you're going to love this episode. Welcome to the inaugural episode of Graveyard Shift, where I, Jacob DeRose, and my co-host Ray delve into the internet for whatever tangentially horror-related thing interests us. And if you're working the Graveyard Shift, I hope you'll spend the next hour or so with us, or maybe the next 2 hours, because this one's a lot.
I got my pop and my chocolate bar, so, like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, she's got her snacks. Maybe you should get your snacks, too. I'm not even sure if this episode's a good idea, but I feel like we gotta do it.
Okay, but, like, it is anyway, because I need to be refreshed before, we go see it, so...
Yeah, so as we're recording this, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is not out yet, but by the time you'll be listening to this, it'll have come out a while ago, and we're obviously going to see it, and have to weather the damn children that are going to be there.
Oh my god, it's going to be like the Mario movie, but they're going to be more obnoxious.
Oh, absolutely. So I thought we could do a bit of a review here, and I could do my best to explain the lore of FNAF to Ray, who claims to know it, but she doesn't actually.
I only know the first game, because that's the one I've played and I've seen the most of. Like, back when Markiplier, he was doing the Five Nights, like, I would watch him play them, so I've watched him play, like, the first three, but I really only remember the first one.
Man, I thought you were gonna, like, get all defensive when I said you didn't know anything about the lore, because I have a note here that says when she claims she does know it, ask her about it.
No, I legit, I only know of, like, the four main animatronics.
You know who William Afton is?
It's Matthew Lillard, duh.
She doesn't even know who William Afton is.
No, I don't. Is he the one that Matthew Lillard's playing?
I think so. I think that's people's assumption that
Okay.
that he'll be playing Will. Whatever. So I joke, but despite liking the first couple games and being aware of a lot of stuff, I'm also coming at this kind of as an outsider to the FNAF community. I just want to make that absolutely clear, because if I don't, people might think I'm trying to, like, be an expert on this, which I'm absolutely not.
You've seen all the Matt Pats?
No, I haven't. Are you kidding me? He's made like 1,000 videos about FNAF. I've seen a decent chunk of them, but also, even then, in the FNAF community, Matt Pat's theories are like, I'd say they're like C tier, D tier accepted canon.
I know I know absolutely nothing to be able to dispute this, or I have no idea. So basically, what we're doing is we are going to see the Five Nights movie, obviously. Me mainly because Matthew Lillard and Josh Hutcherson is trapped in a pizza place. Not an island this time, but a pizza place, so it's different. And so I was going to go see it anyway, because I have to, with Matthew Lillard. Like, anything he's in, I gotta watch.
Like Serial Mom.
Yo, Serial Mom is fucking good. That movie's just unapologetically good. Shut up. John Waters, amazing.
Serial Mom is actually really good. Great John Waters.
But yeah, so it's just like, let's recap the Five Nights. Let's go into the movie ready to be like, that's not correct. Probably. I don't fucking know.
Let's refresh ourselves. But I think we should also maybe start at the beginning and go over a bit of the creation of the game and find out exactly how we got it.
Oh, you're gonna pad it with this? I thought the whole lore shit was the 8,000 and whatever words. You fucking padded it?
The 8,000 words. The lore is about 7,000 of those 8,000 words. Don't you worry.
Okay, let's get the this out of the way. How did the game get started?
I think it's worth it to do a little bit of a primer, because, you only really bothered to keep up to a point. So, okay, let's start at the beginning here. So there's this guy, Scott Cawthon, independently making video games since the early 2000s, mostly family and Christian games.
Yo, really? I'm sorry. First, we're 5 minutes in, and that's a curveball to me.
Wait, you didn't know that?
No, that's weird.
Oh, okay, yeah, no. Scott Cawthon very, used to make Christian video games. Started off with adventure RPGs, but, they were Christian games, so nobody gave a shit. And then the big tipping point was a game he made called Chipper and Sons Lumber Company, which was meant to be like an adventure business simulator type game where I think you play as a beaver. And unfortunately, along with being not a very good game, Chipper and Sons Lumber Company had another big problem, and can you guess what the problem was?
I'm just gonna guess like stolen assets or something.
No. The assets were of his own creation. No. The problem is that the character models were absolutely horrifying.
Oh.
And accidentally, he did not mean for them to be scary looking, but people said that they looked like horrifying animatronics.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I see.
Yeah, you see where we're going with this already. So this led to Cawthon having what online sources call a crisis of faith and fell into a deep depression.
Wait, because they thought the beavers were too scary? That's kind of... I'm sorry, that's kind of like really funny. Is like...
Yeah, I think like it was like, oh, finally my game got some recognition, and people hate it because it's terrifying.
Oh no, I totally get that, but at the same time, it's like, that's pretty funny. Scary beavers.
Oh, it's absolutely hilarious.
Do you have a picture of the scary beavers?
Yeah. Okay. You know what? Let me send you a photo of Chipper and Sons Lumber Company here.
They're not that scary.
And then here's the player character.
You know, if he pops up like that, sure, but like, he's not that scary. I think people are just like weirded out by anthropomorphic beavers, but like, they're fine. I think
worse. Also, compared to what we're expected to see from a Scott Cawthon creation, it's not nearly as bad as...
Okay, no. We saw worse. That Masha cartoon, that was more scary looking than these beavers.
That's true. We saw a cartoon called Masha and the Bear. That was terrifying looking. I'll see if I can find it as a reference for this.
I mean, she was just a little gremlin girl. She was like the weirdest thing.
The Bear was fine, but Masha was like terrifying. Anyway, Scott had this crisis of faith and this depression, but he pushed through it, and he sort of owned his terrifying character models, and he began to work on a new game, this time a horror game called Five Nights at Freddy's. And in 2014, partway through development, he actually launched a Kickstarter with a funding goal of $10,000 to pay for development costs. Do you want to take a stab at how much he ended up making on the Kickstarter?
Oh god, I have no point of reference. I'm gonna say like, okay, I'm gonna go 15,000.
Oh, it was lower than that.
Oh, okay.
7,000? Lower than that.
$2.
Lower than that. He made $0 on the Kickstarter.
That's okay. Like, I'm gonna give, like, as much as I shit on the whole Five Nights franchise and how I'm kind of like sick of all the mascot horror stuff, the fact that it's been like a decade and this guy was like, he was consistently pumping out Five Nights games and like they got big. Like, it's become a whole fucking phenomenon. So I gotta give props to this guy for like somehow hitting a market that was untapped, and nobody actually really realized how untapped it was until he came along.
He built a juggernaut out of it.
So, like, I'm probably gonna, like, make a lot of snarky comments throughout this episode, but up top, I'm just gonna say, I do admire this guy, and his, like, willingness to, embrace, I suppose. Like, he probably didn't think that this was where he was gonna go, but he was like, you know what? This fucking works.
Oh, wait, I'm gonna keep going. Maybe I'll want to think twice about admiring the guy, but, like, I get what you mean.
No, I
respect
what
he's done.
His willingness to beat a dead horse.
Yeah, okay, perfect. That's the way to do it. But no, I mean, you know, and then he did eventually finish the game in 2014, and it came out, and I get why YouTubers were playing it back then. Like, again, even we loved it.
No, first game was pretty good. I played it. It was pretty tight.
Yeah, it was kind of, and it was revelatory when it first came out, like you said. Like, it was this huge untapped market. But then when the sequels started coming out, like every 4 months, I know you got like progressively more tired of them by the time like the third one came out.
There was no real hype surrounding the releases because it's just like, oh, here's another one. Markiplier's gonna make a video and I'm gonna watch him play it, and okay, we're done. Let's play the next one the next 5 months. I don't know.
I mean, you might not have thought there was hype around them, but there most definitely was.
No, I know that there was hype around them, but like, it's one thing to build hype around something that's gonna come out in like 2 years or something, but then it's another thing of like, I don't know how, it's like the Ass Creed games. When one comes out like every year or something, it's kind of like, okay, you guys, you can take a break and make them like, I don't know, more in depth if you take more time. I don't know.
So you're gonna get Assassin's Creed Mirage then? Because that's out now.
Yeah, I know. And also, no, I haven't played one since Black Flag, so...
I still hold that the series would have skirted like any kind of fatigue from people like us if each release was episodic, rather than it being like FNAF, FNAF 2, FNAF 3, etc. It would be like FNAF Episode 1, FNAF Episode 2.
Yeah,
FNAF
maybe if they
episode 3.
framed it that way. I don't know. I just find like if I'm bombarded by the same thing, I'm just like, I have no interest anymore because one, I'm gonna be a contrarian and be like, it's popular now. It's really popular and everybody's talking about it, and I don't care. But in reality, I'm just like, man, I just want something new now.
You're just too cool for it, man.
God, man.
But like, especially around that time, I think episodic games that was like the time for them. It was pretty big business.
Wasn't
that was
that,
like the height of
Life
where
is Strange, Telltale.
Yeah, Life is Strange was coming out, like height of Telltale Games. Where the hell is Wolf Among Us Season 2? I'm still waiting for it.
We cannot get into this tangent.
It's fine. Telltale just laid off a bunch of employees yesterday. But as the years went on, as the franchise was bought up, more talent was brought in, the merchandising went fucking wild. The games embraced the attention it was getting from the kiddos, and so we got entries in the series like Security Breach, which is hard for a horror purist to even classify it as horror. It is very much now like a franchise for kids.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like I've seen kiddos wearing like Freddy Fazbear shirts. I'm like, wait a second, this isn't.
Wait a minute.
I don't know, man.
I mean, if you see the tone that Security Breach hits, it's like, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I get it now. I don't really get it for like the first few games, but I get it now.
Well, I think maybe like the first few games is like those the YouTube, like everybody on YouTube was playing them. So like, the iPad kids, kids these days on their iPads, but like they really did just watch all of the, there were so many videos to watch. So they, even if they didn't play it themselves, but so they watch it, they get into the characters. So
now we're here, and we're about to go see this multi-million-dollar film from a franchise spawned by one guy and a failed Kickstarter. I was going to say, it's almost inspiring if you forget about the whole Christian fundamentalist groundwork of the whole thing, which is very hard to do because, not to be an immediate buzzkill before we get into this wacky-ass timeline, but Cawthon is also a frequent political donor to far-right and anti-LGBTQ politicians.
Damn it. I was going to say, was he the kind of the Christian TM Christian, or the one that doesn't let the religion take over their whole lives and make them into an
Christian
asshole?
TM, very much. His rogues gallery of faves that he's made political donations to are, you ready for this? Tommy Tuberville, Tulsi Gabbard, Kevin McCarthy, Devin Nunes, the human equivalent of a blue screen, Mitch McConnell, and do you want to say it together?
No.
Okay, we're going to say it together in 3, 2, 1, Donald Trump. You didn't say it with me.
Yeah. I've not said that man's name in many years, and I'm not going to start now. Man, Freddy Fazbear fucking funded the Republicans.
Hardly a meeting of the minds, is it? Anyway, he got flack for it a few years ago when people found out, but, then people doxed him, which I guess was enough for people to just sort of let it all go. Even though, dude, so much of your fan base is queer, I hope for his own sake and his conscience he stopped making those donations. Although the most recent publicly available donation I can find is from 2020, and they're all still through Republican politicians and committees, far after we've learned what the current state of the party is. So, fun stuff.
You're gonna keep it in the political discourse?
Yeah, of course.
Oh my god, no. One thing you don't do is talk about politics. Gross.
I don't want Donald Trump supporters to like this show.
I don't think they would.
Yeah, good. Anyway, he also issued an apology after all that became public where he was like, nah, dude, I love gay people. Well, the $40,000 in political donations that I found documented says otherwise. Yeah, I don't know how to segue out of that and go back to being like, look at the silly mascot game.
I'm going to revise my earlier statement and be like, I don't admire the guy, but I admire his business acumen.
Sure, let's go with that. Look at this silly mascot game. So as the series grew, I just feel like I had to mention that kind of stuff if we're going to be going into this,
I guess so.
All right, as the series grew, with every release, it got seemingly more obvious that Cawthon didn't have any kind of grand plan or design, and that he was just flying by the seat of his pants. And he even admitted that he had no plan for a story when making the first game, but eventually he was like, oh, okay, Five Nights at Freddy's 1 to 3, or FNAF 1 to 3 will be a contained story. And then he was like, okay, FNAF 1 to 4 will be a contained story. And then he was like, okay, fine, FNAF 1 to 6 will be a contained story.
Oh, you mean to tell me that there wasn't a grand plan all along and it wasn't totally obvious that when subsequent games came out that he was kind of just making shit up? What?
Yeah, can you believe that the story is built on spur-of-the-moment decisions and patchwork theory crafting? And that also sort of became the norm, especially with how FNAF blew up on MatPat's channel and like Markiplier's channel, like we've already said. And you can find no shortage of indie mascot horror games now that obfuscate their story behind a bunch of bullshit. But in those cases, it's intentional, which I think might be more annoying. You know, like how Hello Neighbor did it.
I'm trying to think of... I just remember Hello Neighbor being out and everybody being like, yeah, this is kind of cool. And then it was completely different.
Yeah, and then it like completely changed and was a totally different game.
Yeah, he was like, this is not what we wanted.
Anyway, so that's the history. That's the history portion of this covered. So now I've got some foundational stuff I'd like to get through. So for those watching this and are uninitiated into the series, you might be surprised that there's a story at all, such as it is. You know, it's spread across God knows how many nuggets of information throughout the games. And there's the main events of the games, obviously, the titular nights that you spend while playing the game.
But isn't there like a mid-'80s timeline as well?
Oh,
I remember I do remember the phrase "the bite of '87." I think it was.
You wait. So wait you hang on there.
Yeah, I'll revise I know some of the first game and that phrase. And that's it.
So there's the titular nights of the games, but there's also like a litany of mini games that pop up in most of the games that reveal way more information, and arguably the most important information in the story, that are all told, unfortunately, through very esoteric means. And there's the secrets found in each game, and there's the books, which I'm not going to touch much, if at all.
Books?
There are several. There's at least 3 novels, and then a bunch of like short story compilations.
I'm sorry, are they fanfic or like actual?
They're actual. They're written by Scott Cawthon.
Oh my god, this guy really did just go like 24/7, let's go!
At least the novels were. I don't know if the short stories were. I'm not going to be touching the books much, but yeah, there are 3 novels, many novellas, and I've always held the belief that when it comes to a media franchise, I shouldn't have to do a bunch of fucking homework to understand what's going on.
Yeah, my whole thing is like, less is more. You don't need to be all like, the plot doesn't need to be this whole grand fucking opus.
Yeah, and also I understand the irony in that statement, in us being here at all, but that is why we're here. So as for the timeline itself, as I've mentioned before, here's the bad news. There is no official timeline. Womp womp.
What, really? You mean the guy who wrote by the seat of his pants didn't have a timeline?
I thought by now that there would be like we would have generally figured this out. And
yeah,
there'd be
some
like
semblance of a timeline.
Yeah, there'd be some sort of like universally accepted canon timeline that like the entire community agrees upon.
You think an entire community is going to agree upon it? Ha, how naive.
No, that doesn't exist. And I'm pretty sure more has been written on this topic online than anything we have or will talk about on this show. And now my YouTube recommended feed is full of FNAF lore videos that just say how wrong everything I'm about to tell you is. So that's fun. So my baseline that I'm going to use here for this timeline is I'm going to be borrowing from a bunch of different interpretations of the timeline over the years and over the internet from people much more dedicated to FNAF than you or I. You know, YouTubers like Hyperdroid, or I think there was a guy named Russell whose stuff I watched, or like Wendigoon, among others. So bear with me. I came up with the idea for this video first, and then I realized I actually had to do the research, and I thought this was going to be a short episode, and now I am Boo Boo the Fool.
Yeah, this started out just like, hey, you want to see the movie? Yeah, what do you know about it? Nothing? Okay, let's go. Let's do an episode about this.
You're not the one that had to do all the research.
And I would not have.
Okay, so finally, let us start with the very beginning of the story of Five Nights at Freddy's, which at this point is considerably more than 5 nights. Remember when 5 nights meant 5 nights, and it was just like one standalone game, and it was actually like scary?
Yeah, that was the good old days. I felt like I was in on the trend, and now, once again, I don't know what it is.
It'll happen to you.
Once upon a time, sometime in the 1970s, Oh, also bear with me. I have like a little drawing tablet, and I just got it the other day, and I'm still playing with it, and I'm trying to figure out how it works. So bear with me here. So there are these two nerds named Henry Emily and William Afton. So William Afton will also come to be known as Purple Guy, which is a concept I know that you're at least familiar with.
I know, yeah, I only know Purple Guy because of the name, and then seeing like weird Tumblr fan art about sexy purple guys, and I was like, what are you doing?
Tumblr makes everybody sexy for some reason. I'm pretty sure William's meant to be like a middle-aged bald man of some sort.
Okay, well, he's Matthew Lillard now, so I can see it.
William is a married man, and he has 3 kids. He has Elizabeth, Evan, and for the record, Evan also goes by the Crying Child, as that's how he's represented in FNAF 4. But Evan seems to be an accepted name, as it was found by deciphering a code in the FNAF survival logbook. And there's apparently also evidence he could be named Garrett, but we're just going to stick with Evan because honestly, it's the easiest one for me to type out when I was typing these notes. So we haven't even started the story, and I'm already exhausted. So Henry's also married, and he has 2 kids. So okay, so these are William's children. Charlotte, who goes by Charlie, and Sammy. These are Henry's kids. But also, you can forget Sammy. He doesn't matter. And,
okay. Bye, Sammy.
He only ever comes up in like one of the books. I think he literally doesn't matter. Also, I think Charlie is also like only a non-canon name from one of the books, but like Jesus Christ, name your characters. So William runs a restaurant/attraction where he utilizes mascot suits, not animatronics. They're just regular suits, right? One of a bear named Fredbear.
Wait, so all of they didn't even start out as animatronics. It's just like Chuck E. Cheese. It literally is just Chuck E. Cheese.
Just sort of like a Chuck E. Cheese sort of outfit. So we have 2 mascots. Fredbear. This is like the only official 3D render of him, I think.
How?
And it's for a jump scare. And then there's also Bonnie. Just these gold mascot suits.
I thought Bonnie was purple.
I'll fucking get there, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
So William runs a restaurant and attraction where he utilizes these mascot suits, one of a bear named Fredbear and one of a rabbit named Bonnie, to entertain kids and whatnot. But at this time, he and Henry are contemporaries and possibly business rivals. Some timelines suggest that Henry had a rival restaurant called Chica's Party World, populated by animatronic robots, namely Chica the Chicken. But Chica's Party World could just as easily exist way later and really doesn't matter to the overall timeline, so forget about it. I'm not even going to write it down. Whatever the case, the 2 eventually decide to go into business together and open a restaurant called Fredbear's Family Diner, which mostly serves pizza and hosts birthday parties. So now you have William's normal mascot outfits, but there are also animatronic robots of Henry's design performing side by side. And so far, there's nothing sinister at play. There's no dead children or ghosts to speak of. And we even get some additions to the cast, like Foxy the Pirate, who is also a fox. So at this point, we have Chica.
That picture is so funny. I don't know what it is, but it's just really funny to me.
Okay, so we're at Fredbear's Family Diner. We have these 4 guys there. And it's extremely popular. And they even get a TV show called Fredbear and Friends.
There was a TV show?
Yeah, they get they get a TV show called Fredbear and Friends, where it's these 4, I think. I know there's a screenshot of it that's later in the games. I'm not looking it up right now. I'll have to fact check myself later on that. I don't care. Soon after the success of Fredbear's, a second location is open called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, which expanded on the cast of characters.
Now do the animatronics go to that, or is it new animatronics?
So Foxy is moved to Freddy Fazbear's. Chica is moved to Freddy Fazbear's. And then at Freddy Fazbear's, we get 2 new animatronics, which are Freddy, of course, and Bonnie. Bonnie the Blue Bunny.
Ah, my questions were answered. Oh, that's why in the game there was Golden Freddy.
So at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, we have these 4. So Fredbear's and Freddy Fazbear's, which are running concurrently right now, were both extremely successful and only the beginning of incredibly annoying naming conventions in the series. But like I said, Henry and William were big fucking nerds, robotics nerds specifically. So to incentivize more people to visit, and also just to see what they were capable of, they created a line of mascot suits that could double as animatronics. So they could walk around the restaurant and interact with the guests, but also have the human wearer step out of the suit so the animatronic part could perform in scripted shows and play music and shit.
Wouldn't it just be easier to have like a mascot suit and then an animatronic?
It would be easier, but like it's a way of like sort of preserving the magic where it's like, oh, you see them on stage and then they like walk off of the stage and then like serve you pizza. Like that's meant to be the idea.
Yeah, but like at the same time, I feel like the animatronics would be much more expensive, so you don't want the human people getting their human gross stuff in the suits.
Well, we're gonna get to the humans getting their human gross stuff in the suits.
No, I know, but I'm just thinking of like a business, you know. How do you launder them?
If you're gonna criticize their business decisions, we're gonna be here way fucking longer.
Well, it's just like, how are you gonna launder the animatronics, man? It gets sweaty in those suits.
Well, yeah, but shut up. How about that?
I have a feeling that these two didn't think it all the way through.
These experimental suits that they came up with were called the spring lock suits, as they had a bunch of machinery inside held by spring locks.
Sorry, I'm just gonna cut in there. I would never get in a suit that has the word spring lock attached to it. No, absolutely not.
You're smarter than a lot of people in this series. So they had a bunch of machinery inside held by spring locks. So they adjusted the original Fredbear and Bonnie suits at Fredbear's Family Diner to be these kinds of suits, and they would be named Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. Spring Bonnie being William's suit of choice. So now Bonnie is not Bonnie anymore. Now it's Spring Bonnie, I guess, to differentiate it from regular Bonnie. Spring Bonnie is incidentally a terrible name from a marketing perspective.
Yeah, it's not great.
But a lot of the names in this franchise serve the sole purpose of, like, us people being able to keep track of all of this shit. And also, Spring Bonnie is not to be confused with Bonnie the blue/purple rabbit, who at this point is an animatronic at Freddy Fazbear's.
Oh no, my confusion's all cleared up.
I think the visual aid is helping.
It is actually helping. Because I was like, why is Bonnie yellow?
Yeah, so there's two Bonnies. One is Spring Bonnie, one is regular Bonnie.
Gotcha. So, I'm just going to cut in here. So, earlier you were fucking around, and I don't think you heard this. So, Fredbear, I remember in the game that Golden Freddy was a thing. So, Fredbear is Golden Freddy.
Yes, but that didn't become apparent to people playing the games until way later because Fredbear wasn't.
Well, no, because he fucking made a model that he was like, let's make this gold and make it a jump scare, and everybody's like, oh, whoa, and now he's like, oh shit, I need to make this a thing.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, now I have to justify it.
Yeah.
Right? So, with the success of Fredbear's and Freddy Fazbear's, two companies are birthed from William and Henry. There's an entertainment company named Fazbear Entertainment, and a robotics company founded by William named Afton Robotics, which William worked on in a bunker underneath his house. Don't worry about it.
He was probably a Cold War kid. They'd have bunkers.
So William would also begin experimenting with different types of construction and technologies in his animatronics, with one of the earliest inventions being a plush replica of Fredbear with a camera in it to keep track of his children, because he was hardly ever around, because he was an absentee father, because he was too busy working. So, you know, as you do.
So he made like a nanny cam bear.
Basically. And this nanny cam bear was specifically keeping track of his middle child, Evan.
See, I didn't know that there was no nanny cam bear.
Here's the nanny cam bear.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that was a doll.
So that's the little robotic friend, Fredbear, for Evan.
Yeah, some of these I'm gonna be like, oh, I recognize the visual, but I thought that was just a gingerbread man.
Again, so this was specifically for Evan, the middle child. I think he's the middle child. It doesn't. Michael is the oldest child. Michael is the eldest. And
you don't know why Evan needed it. He had middle child syndrome.
I guess so. I guess he felt like he was neglecting Evan specifically. At this point, it is now the year 1983.
Damn it.
Welcome to Five Nights at Freddy's 4.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that FNAF 4 was like the prequel.
Okay, so there's two ways to interpret this story, and there's multiple branches to it. So the first is that this is the first incident in the timeline. And the second is that this takes place after one death has already taken place in FNAF's sister location.
What's one death? Who cares? It's fine.
I'm absolutely going with the first option, that this is the first incident, because the technology we see in sister location is way more sophisticated than anything we see in FNAF 4, where the suits are what I already described. They're mascot suits with the spring lock mechanics to, move the animatronic endoskeletons. And these suits are, of course, quite dangerous, and no one is really trusted to operate them other than William or Henry, since faulty input or moisture or the wrong movements can cause the spring locks to fail and fuck up anyone who might be inside.
Okay, so the perfect thing to put minimum wage employees in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. And so all 4 of them are in FNAF 4?
No, it's just Fredbear and Bonnie.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, all of the animatronics are in the game, but for the sake of the story, only the spring locks exist.
It's just those 2.
Yeah. So they fuck up anybody who might be inside. Because when the spring locks fail, they sort of snap and lock into place, and then the metallic pieces just crush and impale anybody who might be inside.
You should just put a clip from the Saw movie.
But at this point in the story, everything's still hunky-dory right now, save for, some gross negligence on the safety standards of these suits. But
who hasn't done that?
Yeah, thankfully, only William Henry and whatever approved staff are using them, so it's all good. As for the actual events of the 5 nights in this game, FNAF 4, there are also 2 ways to interpret this, but they both stem from the fact that both Evan and Michael are going to be going to a party at Fredbear's at the end of the week.
Ew, imagine having your birthday at your dad's work. Or your dad's, business.
I don't know if it ever actually specifies whose birthday it is. It probably does on one of the mini games. Don't hold me to that. But they're going to a party at Fredbear's.
But it's just like, God, Dad, again? Can't we go to, I don't know, an arcade?
You gotta save money because he's building all these fucking ridiculous robots and shit. So, William knows that these suits are dangerous, and he discourages his children from interacting with them.
Lock them away!
At least the children young enough for him to still impose his will on, like Evan. So William, from his bunker, he sets up a bunch of cameras in his underground lab to monitor Evan, who is already terrified of the animal mascots, and his brother Michael torments him with a Foxy mask throughout the week. I guess because he's excited to go to the party.
He's an older brother. Of course he's going to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So let me just pull up Michael.
I'm sorry. So already I'm like, wow, William, you're a bad dad. Bad dad.
You're a bad dad!
Oh, and we haven't even gotten started yet, dude.
Oh, I can't wait.
Here's Michael scaring Evan. There's
hell yeah. What a fucking... Oh, hell yeah, dude. I love that little fuck.
You know what? Let me pull up Evan, too.
Oh, he's so sad.
Through William's surveillance system... okay, this is so fucking dumb. Okay, so through his surveillance system, he plays an audio frequency that is imperceptible with something called a sound illusion disc, but it alters one's perception of reality. So because of this, Evan begins to hallucinate nightmarish visions of the animatronics that haunt him every night.
What?
And while they're manifestations of his mind, they're very real memories that are formed when he's awake. And also the nightmare animatronics might also actually be real, but don't worry about it.
Okay, yeah, sure. No, go ahead. Yeah, no, yeah.
So these are the nightmare animatronics that Evan sees in the days leading up to the party.
Okay, yeah, I recognize those.
The question now is, why would Evan be afraid of these animatronics in the first place? Because obviously they don't look like that. They look like, Fredbear and Spring Bonnie and all the ones at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. So why is he afraid of them?
I mean, I don't know, the big imposing anthropomorphic bear. It's kind of scary.
Well, here's the thing, though. He also has plushes of them in his room, and he watches the Fredbear and Friends TV show. So what's going on? So there's this theory that in one of the minigames of Five Nights at Freddy's 6, called Midnight Motorist, has the answer. So in it, you play as a disheveled William on a rainy night who's turned away from a bar, which some people believe to be the Freddy Fazbear's from FNAF 2, but they're wrong. He then visits an unspecified burial site in a drunken stupor and returns home to his son, Michael, to find out that Evan has snuck out of the house. So this theory goes that Evan sneaks out to visit the burial site, which is the grave of William's wife and Evan's mom. And outside Evan's room, there are 3-toed footprints that can be seen on the ground, with Evan's footprints continuing north. I didn't realize how many visual aids I was going to need here. You can see, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but you can see the footprints going north here, and then you can see the 3-toed footprints here that clearly belong to like an animatronic suit.
So he was followed to his mother's grave.
Evan sneaks out and just went up to his mother's grave. Now, to explain the 3-toed footprints, those supposedly belong to the Spring Bonnie costume. So what William was doing was he was terrorizing his son by dressing as Spring Bonnie and staring into his bedroom window at night, preventing Evan from obsessively visiting his mother's grave in the night. But since this particular night was rainy, he couldn't do his lookout duties due to the sensitive spring locks, and then Evan snuck out.
Okay, so instead of just having a nice, normal conversation with your son, you're gonna terrorize the shit out of him.
No, William's fucking insane. So this is supposedly why Evan is afraid of the animatronics in FNAF 4. You got that?
Totally. Bro just had like a fucking real-ass sleep paralysis demon. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm following.
Yeah, okay. We're all good. But Midnight Motorist, which is this minigame, also raises another question as part of that minigame is titled Later That Night. So what is that night? So supposedly, this is the night that William, in a drunken rage, killed Henry's daughter, Charlie, when she was locked outside of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, as we see in the minigame from FNAF 2 and again in FNAF 6.
Okay, there was... Wait, what? You're gonna have to backtrack a little bit on that one. You can't just be all like, yeah, gotcha, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up another visual aid here.
Oh, okay, great.
So this is from one of the minigames, I think from FNAF 6. This girl who's stuck outside is Charlie. This is Henry's daughter.
And those 3 kids just didn't let her in because kids suck.
Yeah, they're just little shit kids.
Okay.
They just suck. So in FNAF 2, you see another angle of this night, of this event.
Oh, okay, yeah, I recognize this.
Which was one of the first appearances of the purple guy, where he kills a child who is locked outside of Freddy Fazbear's. Now, people have assumed that these two events are the same, and that this child here is also Charlie, who William kills.
What an asshole.
This is also when Charlie is possessed by the puppet animatronic that was built for the Fazbear's location, which I forgot to mention. So at the Freddy Fazbear's location, we also have the puppet.
Oh yeah, I remember this fuck. Okay, so did he kill her because she was possessed by this thing, or did she get possessed after?
No, she gets possessed after. So once Charlie is dead, the puppet then possesses Charlie's body.
Okay.
Or soul. Or
as
whatever.
You do.
So why did William kill Charlie?
Because he's an asshole.
The answer is I have no fucking idea. According to one of the books, apparently William was jealous of Henry's family and the love Henry had for his daughter, because William is a psychopath, I guess.
Oh my god. Sorry, I'm just gonna go off on, like, when I listen to true crime about family annihilators, where it's just like, don't kill, just fucking leave. Just be a man and leave. You don't have to kill them all. Just leave.
But I have good news. This is our first official child death in the timeline. So let's go ahead and put up a dead kid counter.
Child death counter.
And we are at 1 right now.
Big ol' 1.
All right, so back to FNAF 4. So when Evan, terrified of the animatronics, goes to the party at Fredbear's, presumably dragged by Michael and his friends, so they decide to torment Michael's younger brother by tossing him into the mouth of the Fredbear animatronic, who is in animatronic mode at this point.
So I'm just imagining, like, yeeting a football, but it's a...
Honestly, that imagery is not unlike how it plays out. So this is what happens.
Wow, they got good aim.
I think they shoved him into the mouth of the animatronic.
Okay, well, you said tossed, and I'm like, how do you...
Same difference. So, unfortunately, the spring locks on Fredbear's mouth slam down on Evan's head.
And is that a child death counter too?
This event is henceforth known as the Bite of 83.
Damn it, I had the year wrong.
After the bite of 83, Evan is hospitalized for his injuries, which he would unfortunately never recover from.
Oh.
So we can
Ding, ding, ding.
go ahead and add 1 to our child death counter as Evan eventually succumbs to his injuries.
That's not child death 11, that's child death 2.
It's child death 2. A heartbroken William, presented in the game as the Fredbear camera plushie, says to Evan, "I will put you back together," as Evan dies from his injuries.
Wait, so did he talk to him through the weird nanny doll?
That's how it's represented in the game.
I'm sorry, that's pretty fucking funny.
Whether that's how it actually happened is unclear.
Probably not. He's probably just symbolized as that, but it's pretty funny to picture.
So that's FNAF 4, as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
With a large tangent dedicated to minigames in FNAF 6.
Okay, great. So where we are now is Evan is going to be basically Frankenstein together.
William will put Evan back together.
Okay. We can rebuild him better, faster, stronger. Do children know that reference? Probably not.
Now I want to talk to you about something called dream theory.
Oh, okay. Great. Now, do you mean dream theory of, like, you know, all those books you see in the library about dream interpretations, or like...
Literally a theory about the games.
Oh, okay. I see.
I'm fairly certain that the events of FNAF 4 were originally interpreted to be all a dream, the nights being the literal nightmares that Evan experiences while he's in a coma before his death.
That would be interesting.
Well, as the game progresses, more elements of a hospital room make themselves apparent in the game's bedroom setting. And in fact, when FNAF 4 was first conceived, it's believed that the plan was to reveal that every game up to that point was the nightmares of Evan. And this theory was actually first brought up by MatPat, and honestly, it had a ton of really compelling evidence to support it. Including that Scott said that the ending of the series would be incredibly divisive, you know, back when FNAF 4 was supposed to be the end of the series.
No, I can see that. It would be interesting if done right, and if done wrong, everybody would scream cop out.
I think it was done right, but everybody else screamed cop out anyway.
Well, you know, it was all a dream can be done well. Just most of the times it's not done well.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, none of that shit matters.
Okay,
since
great.
The series continued on, and Scott has said he's only ever done one big retcon in the series history, and many people believe that retcon to be that the games were all a dream, and now each game fits into one long, sprawling, confusing narrative.
I feel like if all of the games were a dream, it would make the weird times to make more sense.
Yeah. So, how you doing? Are you tired?
No.
Oh. Well, I have good news for you then. We're only one game down out of 9 or 8.
Hell yeah.
Or 10. It depends on how many games you count and which you don't. Okay, so here is the FNAF 4 to FNAF 2 gap, which is the foundations of sister location.
Wait, when does FNAF 1 come into play in the timeline?
I'll fucking get there. Be patient.
You're gonna have to make a little note about the game, like make arrows, which one comes first. And
okay, yeah, you know what? Let me get a chronology going on here. So
yes, please.
So here's something fun. I actually have no idea how the story progresses from FNAF 4. Like branching the story from FNAF 4 to FNAF 2, which is what we're doing, and it involves, no matter how you do it, it involves like a lot of stretches. But I should note, not as much stretching as putting the entirety of Sister Location first does. And a lot of the timelines that put Sister Location first go, basically, they go from like, things were going great for William, and then he decided to start killing a bunch of children, which is fucking lame. But as far as I can parse, here's what happens after Evan dies in FNAF 4. So Five Nights at Freddy's first popular series, it is about animatronics being haunted by the souls of children that also can't seem to help itself from expanding on shit. Really seems to yada yada over how the animatronics become possessed.
Yeah, that's the most interesting part to me.
Yeah, so what they do provide, though, in the books, is a substance called remnant, which is basically a soul that can be, like, melted down and then infused with an animatronic skeleton.
Okay. Sorry, I was always under the impression that the animatronics were possessed by the murdered kids. Just based on what little I know.
It's like they're possessed by the murdered children, but also the animatronics make it happen to themselves, sort of.
Okay.
I don't know. Sometimes it just happens. which is what happened to Evan, who goes on to possess the Fredbear suit that killed him.
See, that makes sense to me. He literally absorbed the child.
Meanwhile, William somehow discovers that Evan is still in the Fredbear suit, so to speak. And he basically stumbles upon the discovery of Remnant, or at least like the possibility of it. He either noticed it in Fredbear or saw how the puppet possessed Charlie after he killed her. But either way, William becomes aware of this whole possession thing, but he still needs to do more research on the topic, which means he's gonna need more test subjects to put his ideas to work.
Oh, I was gonna say there's probably not a lot of research or notes out there about what he wants, so, okay, I get it.
It's at this time that William essentially distances himself from his business partner, Henry, because of the whole he killed his kid thing, I assume. And he recedes into his lab working on new animatronics, which are called the Funtime animatronics, for a third restaurant location called Circus Baby's Pizza World.
I do remember Circus Baby. I remember Circus Baby being, kind of cute.
So here are the Funtime animatronics.
Yeah, she kind of reminds me of the Wendy's logo girl. And then we have, a weird reboot robot right beside.
There's a whole thing with her that's not even worth talking about. She's not relevant to the timeline. But some people are like, that's William's wife. And it's like, I guess in some timelines, sure. Not in this one. So these Funtime animatronics are designed with a specific design quirk. Fuck, I said design twice. It's fine. In that they are made to house the bodies of children. For kidnapping and killing purposes.
Hell yeah.
And there's also a whole Remnant thing where William designs these with a Remnant injector, but it's
sure,
whatever. So the titular Circus Baby even has a claw that pops out of it to literally grab the kid and stuff it into its shell. And it uses ice cream to lure the kids in the first place.
Oh yeah, as you do.
Unfortunately, while working on these robots, William's youngest daughter, Elizabeth, becomes enamored with Circus Baby and gets frustrated that William tries to keep her away from it because he knows it'll kill her.
Well, then don't make these so fucking appealing to children.
Well, he has to because it has to lure children.
Yeah, well then he just made himself into a whole fucking conundrum then. I'm starting to think he did this to himself.
Yeah, I mean all of this he did to himself 100%. On opening day of Circus Baby's Pizza World, Elizabeth slips away and manages herself into a room where it's just her and Circus Baby, and you can guess what happened next. That is Circus Baby grabbing Elizabeth.
It's kind of funny. I don't know. It's just something grabbing it by the head's really funny to me.
Throw another dead kid counter on there.
While he was doing this, I assume he was going to use children lured from the restaurant. He didn't think that the authorities would end up looking. When a restaurant opens up and there's one dead kid would be too many in that situation.
William's not a smart man.
He's not a forward thinker.
He's got book smarts, but he's not street smart.
Okay, I see.
So Elizabeth is dead now, and she goes on to possess the Circus Baby animatronic. And after Elizabeth's death, Circus Baby's Pizza World is closed under the cover of gas leaks.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
I think it's also worth mentioning that you could just as easily place Elizabeth's death before Evan's death and say that William learned about possession and Remnant after killing Charlie. Your mileage may vary. This timeline's exhausting. All of these first events, you can sort of shuffle them around. And there's also some theories that say that William doesn't kill Charlie until after Elizabeth's death, and that Henry built the puppet animatronic specifically as a security device to protect Charlie from William, because William was apparently building killer robots who nonetheless failed at its purpose, which is why Charlie was able to possess it.
And Henry didn't think simply to move away.
Well, he had a business empire to.
I know you got to build a whole ass puppet as a secure. Just hire security.
The point is, these first three deaths you can basically put in any order because any and all evidence that leads to one another is all circumstantial and full of blanks.
The points
that need
are made
filling.
up and they don't matter.
Exactly, everything's made up and the points don't matter. But it makes the most sense to me that Evan or Charlie in 1983 is the first, and then Elizabeth happens. Please don't ask me to elaborate because my brain will fucking melt. All right, moving on. The year is 1983. 80.
7.
5.
Damn it.
Let's start killing some kids.
What happened in 1987? Why is that number
I'll
in my head?
fucking get there.
No, that's like a significant number. I'm not just making it up.
Yes, it is.
Okay, sweet.
So after all this shit happens, in whatever order is most convenient to you, Fredbear's Family Diner is closed due to Evan's very public death. So now Freddy Fazbear's is the main and only attraction, thank God. You know what? I'll just use the one from the movie.
I was going to say, they had like a whole high-res version.
Which has the 4 that we know and love, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy. And just so we're clear, this is the Freddy Fazbear's that you occupy in FNAF 1. There are multiple locations later, but right now this is the only one that's in operation.
Okay, so you got the 4 main ones, and then the 2 spring ones are not there.
Well, at this location, actually, the old Fredbear and Spring Bonnie suits are decommissioned, and they're stored in a secret back room that's invisible to security and only known to staff.
Okay, great. Security is staff.
Well, shut up.
That makes no fucking sense, but okay.
I know it makes no sense, but just go with it.
I thought the security would be the one who needs to know, but okay.
You would think, but shut up. And also, Fredbear's name is Golden Freddy now. Don't worry about it.
I already knew that. That's how I know him as. I remember when people were like, oh my god, who is this weird color variant?
So at this point, William has been ousted from the company. Because Henry supposedly found out what he was doing with Circus Baby.
Fucking psycho.
And the whole claw that kills children thing. But whether Henry at this time knew that William actually killed Charlie, Henry's daughter, is unknown. But Henry does know that William is a danger to children and, like, kills children and shit.
He's a liability.
Yeah, exactly. Why Henry didn't turn William in is anyone's guess.
Shut up, money. Duh.
Well, people seem to think that because Henry knows that William's daughter and son were killed by monsters of his own creation, that's kind of punishment enough.
No, absolutely not.
William, having been shut out of the empire he built with Henry after losing his 2 children, is pissed. So this sets him on a murderous rampage, both for the sake of revenge, as well as supposedly gaining more insight into Remnant and how all of that shit works. So William, initially posing as a security guard to gain access to the restaurant, dons his old Spring Bonnie suit and begins luring children into the secret room where he subsequently kills them. And his victims in this rampage total 5 kids. So let's add another 5 kids to the dead kids counter. We're up to 8 dead kids.
So he's the security guard before the events of the game. This happens before the events of FNAF 1?
Yes, he poses as a security guard, then dons his Spring Bonnie suit to like lure kids into the back room.
Well, I sure hope that the security guard you play as in 1 was vetted. Holy shit. Also, I'm sorry. He poses as a security guard, but they don't know what he looks like. He's the founder.
I don't know. Maybe he's maybe put on like some Groucho Marx glasses or something, and like they were like, "Who's this guy?"
He doesn't seem suspicious at all. He just has a bunch of ice cream.
He just has a bunch of ice cream and candy and a knife, and oh, this is normal. Okay, so he kills these 5 kids, and the reason these bodies are never found in the subsequent investigation, because there is a police investigation.
That's fucking shock. That's the most shocking thing so far.
I know, right? But the reason the bodies are never found is because they've been stuffed into the animatronics, either by William or the puppet animatronic, who is currently possessed by Charlie, who brings them new life as these robots. So these are, Chica is possessed by Susie, Freddy is possessed by a kid named Gabriel.
Man, imagine it being the kid that's like, you know, I got killed, but I get to be Freddy, though. I get to be the guy.
Bonnie is possessed by Jeremy. Foxy is possessed by Fritz.
Yo, Fritz.
Pretty badass name.
See, honestly, I was going to ask you who your favorite animatronic was. Mine's always been Foxy. So I'm happy that, you know, Fritz gets a good one.
And then there's this other girl, Cassidy, who possesses Golden Freddy. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't Evan already possessing Golden Freddy? And the answer is yes. They both possess Golden Freddy.
Yo, if I would be pissed. I'd be like, I have to fucking share? Did they get to choose who they possess? Did they have to fight over who gets to be Freddy? And it's like, one of you's got to share a bunk bed. And you got to fight over who it is.
It's supposedly the puppet, I think, who finds their bodies and like stuffs them into the animatronic suits and then gives them life.
Okay, so basically Afton went a little bit too murder hobo, killed one kid too many, and they were like, fuck, one of you's gotta double up.
Exactly. So Cassidy and Evan are both in Fredbear / Golden Freddy. It's revealed in one of those like tertiary survival logbooks that Cassidy essentially reactivates Evan's consciousness so that they both occupy the Golden Freddy suit.
Sure. Okay, yeah.
Now, here, are you ready for the biggest fucking twist of this story? In this investigation, William is arrested.
That's actually a shocker.
But he's let go.
That's not a shocker.
Due to a lack of evidence, since the bodies are never found.
That is not a shocker whatsoever to me.
Which you can read in the newspaper clippings present in Five Nights at Freddy's 1. After all of that, and a year of trying and failing to shake the stigma of the tragedy, the original Freddy Fazbear's location is shut down. How you doing?
I'm just thinking, like timeline-wise, so these restaurants were only open for like a couple years.
Yeah, they're all pretty short-lived restaurants.
So the restaurant opened and 5 kids died.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it was closed, and then the security guard from game 1 comes in.
You're almost there. The year is 1987.
Yay!
Welcome to Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
Wait, so FNAF 1 takes place before the restaurant's closed.
No, FNAF 1 takes place after the restaurant closed.
Which is what I said before, and then you said I was almost there.
Yeah, but it takes place after FNAF 2.
Oh, it's because they reopened it.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember now. Gotcha.
Okay, so now it's 1987, and the events of FNAF 2 can finally take place. Freddy Fazbear's has a new location and has a grand reopening, outfitted with more like plasticky toy animatronics that have enhanced security features like facial recognition software to detect threats.
Oh, great.
I would kind of demand that, I think.
Okay, yes, but sometimes children are threats. Have you ever seen a child?
So here are the toy animatronics.
They're actually kind of cute. Who are those helicopter kids?
They are Balloon Boy and JJ. They don't matter.
Okay, great. I know Balloon Boy, but I wanted to call him Bubble Boy.
JJ, I think, is just sort of like a secret. Like JJ really doesn't matter.
Fuck you, JJ.
All of the original animatronics from that first location are also moved there for dismantling and parts, which leaves them in a state of disrepair, including Golden Freddy, Spring Bonnie, and the whole possessed group from the missing children incident. So now they look like this.
Okay, but only the first ones are actually active.
Yes, correct. Oh yeah, also present at this location is an old Funtime Foxy animatronic, recycled from Circus Baby's Pizza World, but it's very quickly mangled by kids after it opens.
Yeah, isn't it called Mangle?
So it becomes the animatronic named Mangle that you can see in front of you here.
I remember a little bit about the second game.
And also present is the puppet who is still housed by Charlie.
Okay. Great.
So the player character of FNAF 2, Jeremy Fitzgerald, is hired as the night shift security guard, supposedly replacing somebody else, the only other security guard to work this position before being moved to the day shift. So there's 2 security guards where they're working now, the day shift guy and Jeremy. Through Jeremy's first week, another investigation is launched, and Jeremy is instructed to not let anybody in or out, especially when it comes to previous employees. This previous security guard is once again William.
Wait, he's the day guard?
Yep.
You think that these motherfuckers would have a big old picture of him being like, don't hire him.
You would think, right? But it's the 80s, man. People did all sorts of weird, wild shit in the 80s.
I miss a time where you could do crimes and then move to another city and it's all good, man.
And people would just be like, man, who are you? I've never heard of you.
My name is Adam Jerome and I'm a real estate guy. I didn't kill 80 people. Don't worry about it.
My name's Jason Fake Name. William is using his old MO to get back into Freddy's and go killing again.
Old MO? It's his current MO. He never stopped.
So he lures and murders another 5 children Add them to the counter.
Okay. I'm not saying that the kids deserve it, but these guys really should have seen that one coming.
At this point, I'd probably just stop trying to open restaurants.
Yeah. Maybe just make them into... Keep them on TV. Just do TV stuff.
We're up to 13 dead kids, by the way.
Hell yeah.
So they go on to possess, I don't know, probably the toy animatronics, the Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Mangle, Balloon Boy.
Can we just we'll just assume that they're all fucking possessed at this point.
Yeah, that makes sense. And,
Okay, great.
And they don't. I don't think they even have names. These five. So
Who cares?
It's whatever.
Who fucking cares?
All the toy animatronics are possessed now. It's
Okay, great.
whatever. But honestly, this second missing kids incident is disputed because the toy animatronics also have facial recognition software to detect threats for dangerous people, and maybe through the manipulation of the puppet, they were made to attack Jeremy rather than having them be possessed. But honestly, I think it's funnier if even more kids are killed and then it's never mentioned again. So, and we can also inflate our comically large body count. So that's what we're doing.
But honestly, it's just like, yeah, of course that 5 more are dead because they're dumbasses. And it's whatever, man. History repeats itself. We never learn.
Exactly. If we're going with what we just said we are, which we are, this possession makes the animatronics hostile towards security guards, since basically all of them, including those of the original missing children's incident, were killed by William posing as a security guard, which is why all of these animatronics attack you.
That makes
FNAF
sense.
2.
Holy shit.
So at the end of Jeremy's first week on the job, he's instructed to come in for one day shift to monitor a birthday party. To the player, Jeremy goes missing after this party, and he's replaced by a different player character, Fritz Smith.
That's a fake name if I've ever heard one.
Yeah, you are not wrong, but I'll get there. So for the last day of the game, you play as Fritz Smith rather than Jeremy. Now, the reason Jeremy is gone is because at this birthday party, Jeremy is attacked by one of the animatronics, who bites out his frontal lobe. An incident which becomes known...
Hey! As the bite of 87!
The bite
Was that the bite of 87?
I was fucking right all along.
The victim of that is Jeremy.
Aw, poor Jeremy.
There's 2 victims named Jeremy now, but don't worry about the security guard. It doesn't really matter. Jeremy actually survives.
How?
Well, they say in FNAF 1, Phone Guy says it's amazing that how the human body can survive without the frontal lobe.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Shut up!
So Jeremy survives, but it's unclear for how long, or whether he dies shortly after, or if he even maintains cognitive function. I'm going to leave this to you.
At that point, I think he's just a vegetable.
I'm going to leave this to you. Should we have like a side body count going for non-kids? Should we add him to the body count?
You could add him in like a different color. This is the child deaths, okay? We cannot taint it with a frontal lobe victim.
Okay, I'll put a purple one here for the bite of 87 victim there. Okay, so like you said, Fritz Smith sounds like a fake name, right?
Yeah.
So who the hell is this guy? The security guard that takes over from Jeremy after Jeremy is, almost brutally killed by an animatronic in the middle of the day. Who is stupid enough to take on that job?
It better not be William again.
The answer, apparently, is William.
It better not be fucking William again.
Son Michael.
That kind of makes sense, actually. You know what? I'm not even mad about that. This kid grew up with so much trauma about puppets and shit, and saw his dad being like, I can be a fake security guard. Hell yeah. No, I totally, yeah, no, I understand. Yep, totally. Wait a minute. So then I'm just thinking of like, wow, Michael grew fucking fast.
Well, actually, since the bite of 83, it's been 4 years. So maybe Michael was like 14 when the bite of 83 took place.
Maybe,
he's
yeah,
like 18 now.
maybe he's 18. Yeah, no, whatever. Also, I don't really think that these people who were so ready to fucking hire William really cared about this kid and being like of age to work. Who cares?
Yeah, probably not. Anyway, so Michael is fired after only 1 day for supposedly tampering for the animatronics and also smelling bad.
Honestly, the second one probably more likely.
But why is Michael taking on a security guard role in the first place?
He wants to get closer to his dead siblings.
Well, pretty much. It's supposedly to unravel his father's actions and trying to understand what the hell happened. Fucking you and me both, dude.
Honestly, I can get behind that.
Yeah, so it's either that or Michael is working alongside William. It's a bit unclear.
Well, those are 2 wildly different things.
Yeah, and yet it's a bit unclear.
Great.
But I'm just gonna go with it. He's trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So after the bite of 87, Michael's sole knight on guard duty, and possibly one or two staff members also dying due to spring lock failures, but I'm not going to count them because I don't know if that's ever confirmed. This new Freddy's location is also closed for good in November of 1987, and the toy animatronics are dismantled.
Oh, I can't wait to hear how many other times that they've opened restaurants not learning from the past.
So the Freddy Fazbear brand lies dead for several years. How you doing? You still with me?
Yep.
I feel like I have to, like, after every sort of game, I have to check in with you and be like, you still following me? Is this making any fucking sense?
Surprisingly, yes, it kind of is.
Okay, that's good, because I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I'm not asking a lot of, like, in-depth questions, because I feel like we just won't have answers to those. So as of right now, surface level, I'm following.
Let's move on then. So the year, it's been 5 or 6 years. The year is 1993-ish. Time for Five Nights at Freddy's 1. The player character, who is still Michael Afton under the alias of Mike Schmidt.
Oh, you play as Michael in the first one?
Yes, that's the thought, at least.
Oh, interesting.
But he uses the alias Mike Schmidt.
Okay, great. Yeah, no notes. Great alias. Good job, kid.
Yeah, he's really bad at coming up with convincing sounding real names. So he's hired as the night security for the newly reopened original Fazbear's location, the one that the first missing children's incident took place in.
Yeah, but they couldn't tie it back to that place, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe. So how this company has managed to stay in business after so many publicized murders and disasters is kind of beyond me. You know, it doesn't feel like it's like McDonald's or like too big to fail or anything like that.
Yeah, I really don't understand the longevity.
Yeah, and I mean, like, even McDonald's semi-retired Ronald McDonald after the 2016 clown incident, so I don't know. Yet Freddy's just, like, keeps going. So the original animatronics from this location that were then used for parts in the 1987 FNAF 2 location are remodeled and re-outfitted and are sent back to the original location. So now we just have Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, and maybe Golden Freddy, with, like, Evan taunting Michael with visions of the phrase, "It's me," reminding Michael of his actions that led to his brother's death.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't blame the child for killing the child. He didn't know.
Yeah, but he's a pissed off animatronic ghost now, so, you know.
Okay, but my main thing is, after these kids were ate by the animatronics, nobody cleaned out the animatronics and found, like, human goo.
Nah, because I guess the...
Fuck you, it was absorbed. It's fine.
Yeah, you know what? I wasn't even thinking about that, but sure, the remnant fucking absorbed them. Why not?
This is all I'm thinking about. I'm thinking of... I'm doing the logical thing and thinking of the evidence left behind of, like, these things... There's no evidence of, like a child finger in there, like...
Look at Miss Dateline here, thinking about evidence.
Yeah! Yeah! Crimes happened.
I have no answer for that. I'm sorry.
Great.
I'm sorry. So
it was supernatural. Deal with it.
Pretty much. Okay, so FNAF 1, this is the setup. And, you know,
Hold on, who's your favorite animatronic?
I don't have one.
Really?
I genuinely don't have one.
Aw, man.
I guess, of the ones we've met so far, I guess Foxy.
Yeah, okay, good. He's the coolest.
Okay, so after after a week of standard security boy hide and seek with his ghost pals, still attacking him because he's wearing a security guard outfit, remember? And also bearing a resemblance to William, because he's his son, Michael is once again fired for supposedly tampering with the animatronics and smelling bad.
He's got that adrenaline sweat. He's been terrorized by these animatronics. Of course he smells bad.
So supposedly after Michael is fired at the end of FNAF 1, this Freddy Fazbear's closes once again.
These bitches can't stay open for a week without something happening.
Literally, though. This leaves William, though, with a unique opportunity to enter the derelict building and disassemble the animatronics, either to hide evidence of his crime sprees, or to...
Well, apparently there is none.
Or to collect the remnant of the souls of the victims for his own experiments.
God, William, just find a good book and curl up with that. Jeez.
Here's William disassembling all the animatronics.
Oh, okay. See, I remember when these like popped up and everybody was like, "Ooh, what do these mean?"
I mean, honestly, people are still like, "Ooh, what do these mean?" But now there's like a whole bunch of other lore.
You can infer stuff or like actually base it on other things.
Yeah.
I just remember when these came out and everybody was like, "What the hell?"
This was William disassembling the animatronics. So he collects the remnant, and this remnant gets injected into the Funtime animatronics, which he's apparently been working on and repairing in the background. So the original animatronics, the original Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, they're dead. Their souls are in the Funtime animatronics now.
Okay. But I thought the second set of 5 kids that were killed were in the Funtimes.
Those are the toy animatronics.
Oh.
Yeah, the amount of times I've made that mistake.
God damn.
Now those are in here with Cassidy still in Golden Freddy. This one also Circus Baby is still Elizabeth. So
Elizabeth's got a share too.
Wait, no, I think one of them might be in this Funtime animatronic.
I forgot all about that thing.
Yeah, okay. So I think this makes sense. I think we're all good.
No, it makes total sense.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. We're good. We're good. So the remnant is now in the Funtime animatronics. This is where they all live.
Okay, great.
But this plan of disassembling the animatronics backfires on William, as when he returns for the final animatronic, Golden Freddy, and the vengeful spirit of Cassidy, she's able to rally her murdered brethren and confront William in the safe room of his original location, like this original Freddy Fazbear's location, which is where the Spring Bonnie suit is still lying. You remember the Spring Bonnie suit?
Oh man, and didn't he like that one?
He did. That's the one that he used to lure all of the kids with.
Oh, what a fitting end, maybe.
Here's Cassidy and the others confronting William in the back room.
Sorry. What is on his face?
He's yelling.
Make that bigger.
He's scared. He's like,
"Rah!" Oh, it was his arm. Okay, it's his arm that's his fucking back arm there.
Yeah, no,
I see.
He's like flailing his arms around.
Gotcha.
He is scared. So to protect himself, William finds the old rundown Spring Bonnie suit, and he jumps into it, not realizing that the disrepair of the building and the wear and tear of the suit over the years causes a spring lock failure.
What a fucking idiot.
This kills William.
Okay, honestly, that was his own dumbassery.
Oh, 100%.
I'm sorry. Let me run away from these children that can possess these mechanic beings. Let me jump into a mechanic being. Girl.
Yeah. Well, this kills William. What do we do about our death counter here? We have a confirmed adult death.
Then put a red one underneath, I guess. I don't know. No, you have to make the other one not purple, and then purple guy's death is a purple one.
Okay, so I'll put a red one here, and then that'll be for...
That'll be for Jeremy.
For Jeremy.
And then purple one is purple guy.
Yeah.
Obviously. Okay, great.
I mean, everybody was a child once.
No. I wasn't. I came out of the womb serious.
All right, well, so William's dead now. After William's death, the safe room is then boarded up due to renovations. And
renovations?
Possibly because...
I'm sorry, there's a pool of blood.
Don't worry about it.
Renovations.
Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry.
No.
It's just the fact that they closed that. They were like, let's board up this room. Not because somebody died in there. We want to remodel.
Well, either or. Somebody died in there. But the point is, the body is left there.
The whole ass body is just in there?
Yep.
So, like, we got a rotting corpse in a suit.
Yep. That room is boarded up and William is just left there.
But we don't have rotting corpses of the children in the suits. Those were absorbed.
Shut up. Shut the fuck up.
Okay. Okay, great.
After the safe rooms are boarded up, William possesses Spring Bonnie.
So he does possess it. So he should have gotten absorbed. His body should have gotten absorbed.
Well, whether it did or not, I think is left ambiguous. But Spring Bonnie, with William inside henceforth, becomes Spring Trap. It is now the mid-90s. It is time for Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, or FNAF 5, but it's called sister location. It seems after so many years, since Circus Baby's Pizza World shut down back in the 80s, William's underground bunker has been revamped to Circus Baby's Entertainment and Rental.
Wait, what? Hold on. What? Wait, what?
What do you mean, what?
They found his bunker that I assume had all of its shit in it.
Oh, no, it hasn't been found. Before William died, he had converted Circus Baby's Pizza World into Circus Baby's animatron. So he was running like a side hustle where he would rent out animatronics to whoever wanted them.
So this is different from his like weird evil bunker.
It's the same. No, it is his weird evil bunker, but he's also like running this side hustle, possibly to send out animatronics to like also lure in kids. It's unclear.
But then wouldn't they find all of his shit there?
You'd think, but he's running it all by himself out of this bunker. He's a visionary businessman.
I was picturing this bunker as like a Cold War era bunker in his backyard that he just converted into an evil lair of sorts that has all his bullshit in it.
It is very much an evil lair that has all of his bullshit in it.
Okay, so this whole time, this bunker has been this Circus Baby's bullshit.
Yes.
Fuck, okay, go on.
So Timeline supposed that this rental outfit opened after the last Freddy's closed down, the location for FNAF 1, but before William returned to dismantle the animatronics and then dying.
So before it turned into that, he had an underground bunker.
Yes. The underground bunker is under his house, right?
That's what I was thinking, yes. Okay.
Yes. So when he opens Circus Baby's Pizza World, that's like a restaurant in like elsewhere.
Okay.
So then that shuts down, but he still has the bunker.
That's what I was saying. Okay, that's what I was asking. Does he still... That's...
Yes.
Then how his Circus Baby's his bunker?
He just reappropriates the Circus Baby's brand name into like a rental business.
From his bunker.
From his bunker.
Okay, that's what I was asking. I was like, there's no way... How does he... Okay, because I was... If we were going with what I thought was happening... I was going to be like, wow, everybody in this area is total idiot.
I mean, that's still true, but not for the reasons you think.
Okay, great. I was just really confused about, okay.
But we're all on the same page now, right?
Proceed.
Okay. So, Michael, after the events of FNAF 1, supposedly returns home, and he discovers this business, this bunker, or he always knew about it, but he descends down into the lab for several nights in order to uncover the mystery of what the fuck's been going on with his dad.
Okay, somebody's looking in the bunker.
Somebody's looking in the bunker, and it's Michael.
Thank God.
Yeah, and he eventually meets Circus Baby, who is still possessed by his young sister, Elizabeth.
Aw.
Oh, and actually, let me I also pull up a more current portrait of Michael. Here's what Michael looks like now. So he's going down into Circus Baby's. He's strolling along.
Sorry, it's really funny. It's like you should have kept that mask on, bro.
So he meets Circus Baby, still possessed by his young sister, among others who don't really matter in the grander scheme of things. You know, like Ballora, like I said, she doesn't matter. Eventually, Michael is led by Circus Baby into a room called the Scooping Room. Which,
I do remember the Scooping Room.
The Scooping Room has a big claw meant to scoop out the endoskeletons of animatronics. But what the scooper does to Michael is it scoops him out, like his guts and shit, allowing the Funtime animatronics to amalgam themselves into a single entity called Ennard.
Wait, what? Wait. Wait, what? How does...
So here's Ennard.
Oh, what a doofus.
So all of these guys...
Okay, I'm sorry. They all joined together and that's what they came up with?
I don't know. So they amalgam themselves into Ennard, and they jump into Michael's skin, and they wear him as a skin suit and escape the underground bunker.
No, I'm sorry. No. Wait a second. So they scoop out his guts and stuff.
Yep, so just his skin remains.
Yeah, no, I'm following. Yeah, that's fine. I get that. But how does that allow them to fucking Transformers it?
They're sentient
Okay,
animatronic robots.
so all 4 of them combine to make that thing somehow.
Yes.
And then they wear him like a meat puppet.
Yes. And all of the possessed victims share like a single consciousness. Like they all
that must be hell.
Like they all talk to each other and fight with each other like within Ennard.
Okay.
Yeah. So then they jump into Michael's body and they wear him as a skin suit. And they escape the underground bunker disguised as Michael.
Disguised is probably putting it nicely.
Well, he looks like that, like what I just posted. He looks like
really?
that
They're not moving all weird? Like, yes, I am human.
Yeah, no, he looks like that.
Sure. Yeah, no, totally.
To a point. Because as Ennard occupies Michael, his body begins to rot away until his body completely deteriorates because he's, just a skin suit. Here's how Michael eventually ends up looking.
Now he's purple guy.
Willie's dead. There's still only one purple guy now. It's Michael. As Ennard occupies Michael, the body rots away until his body completely deteriorates. Ennard then leaves Michael's skin suit. He yeets himself out of the skin suit because he's like, well, fuck this. He just leaves this empty husk of a body in the street.
Oh, yeah, no, totally
but
fine.
Because the scooper was outfitted with a remnant injector, Michael refuses to die and basically becomes a living zombie, deprived of internal organs.
Wait, okay. Then how is he walking around?
It just works. This is he crumples to the ground and then he just gets up and is like this.
Okay.
It just works. I have written down here, it's like, I'm not actually sure if Michael is still alive or if Michael is dead and then he possessed his own husk body. But Circus Baby did tell Michael, you won't die, so I'm not going to count it as a death yet.
Sure.
So after Ennard escapes into the sewer, some infighting occurs between the collective conscious of all the missing kids that possess the Funtime animatronics, which are the victims of the missing children incident, and Elizabeth, who is still possessing Circus Baby. But they all get pissed off at Elizabeth for some reason, and they somehow kick her out of Ennard.
So how many, is it 5 or 10 that are sharing this consciousness?
I think it's 5. I'm unclear, and honestly, I might be missing 5 children.
It's between 5 and 10.
It's between 5 and 10-ish. Yeah, so anyway, they yeet Elizabeth out of Ennard, so she's gone.
So is her consciousness just no more?
Well, she's now she's just dicking around in the sewers.
Okay, but how? Because she's not possessing a puppet anymore.
Well, she reassembles Circus Baby.
How?
I don't know.
Because what I'm thinking is they've all amalgamated into one, meaning that their original forms are no more. So, by yeeting her consciousness out, how the fuck is she rebuilding anything?
Maybe when they yeeted her out, she had a little piece of metal that she was bound to, or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Sure. So she reassembles Circus Baby's image using garbage and scrap metal found in the sewers and becomes a distorted version of herself, who is now called Scrap Baby.
Oh, I hate that. Okay, yeah, so far, out of all of them, I think I hate this one the most.
Ennard, meanwhile, does the same sort of thing, I guess, to maintain its own identity and maybe look a bit more like a quote-unquote normal animatronic. So it fails horribly and becomes this monstrosity.
Oh no. Okay, we're getting into territory that's uncharted for me. I've never seen these. At least Elizabeth had some vision, it looks like.
So Ennard becomes this, and this is called Molten Freddy.
Okay, wow,
That's Molten Freddy.
Wow, I've not seen some of these. Okay, wow, this is new.
So our current list of animatronics is Scrap Baby.
Okay.
Molten Freddy, Springtrap, the Puppet, and Golden Freddy, who is unaccounted for, I guess, at this still.
Okay, who's Molten Freddy then? Again, that's just the amalgamation still?
Yeah, Molten Freddy is 5 to 10 children. Time for our next game. The year is the distant future, 2023.
Wow, they really time skipped.
Yep.
Jesus
30 years
Christ.
later. Welcome to Five Nights at Freddy's 3.
FNAF 3 was set in 2023?
Yep.
How did I not know this? When did FNAF 3 come out?
2015, I think.
Damn.
So we're in the distant future of the year 2023. Hey, look at that. That's this year. So basically everything that's happened till now becomes ingrained in the public consciousness and almost becomes like a combination of true crime and urban legend.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah,
how
totally.
the Zodiac Killer is, or it's been long enough that there are like, I guess, like those horror tourist.
I totally, absolutely.
Yeah. So a new attraction opens that's meant to profit off of these tragedies, but honestly not with enough time passed for it to be like tasteful. And it's called Fazbear's Fright. And I don't think it's affiliated with any sort of Fazbear Entertainment, though. So how they got around a lawsuit is anybody's guess.
Okay, so this is kind of akin to like making a haunted house based on the Manson murders, except a little bit more recently. But like, still,
I don't know if this is an official render. I don't think it is. I apologize if this is pulled from somebody's DeviantArt. I am just going by what Google gives me. Fazbear's Fright is also opened in an old Freddy Fazbear's pizza location. So, it's got that authenticity.
So then they would have had to go through the channels of...
I don't think so, just because it's an old derelict
property.
building.
Yeah, but it would get back to the people who had owned...
I imagine the building was probably foreclosed upon by the bank or something.
I guess.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah, why am I getting caught up on the legal business?
Yeah. William Afton certainly wasn't.
It's because I can understand that side.
As opposed to this nonsense that I've been telling you for the last 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's like, let me unravel the business bullshit and like the legalities and not focus on the supernatural bullshit.
At Fazbear's Fright, the player character, probably still Michael, somehow.
He would only be like 40-ish, mid-40s maybe.
And be a purple zombie husk.
Oh, I totally forgot that he's a fucking zombie husk. Oh my god, that totally just, yeah.
So he's told over the phone that the staff have found a bone.
This purple zombie husk has phone. And that's the funniest thing to me right now.
Yeah, I don't. But no, Michael's still like going around. And he's got his faculties about him. He's just a fucking zombie,
decomposing zombie boy, and he's got a phone that he keeps tabs.
Well, when I say he's told over the phone, I mean he's told over the phone at Fazbear's Frights, like the one that they have in the office. So who knows if he has his own smartphone?
But he's just like, maybe he's just been chilling at those locations. He's just been night watchmaning.
Maybe. Who knows? So he's told over the phone that the staff of Fazbear's Fright found a bona fide real animatronic that they're going to use for the attraction, along with all of the other Freddy memorabilia that they've collected over the construction of the place. And they've supposedly possibly also come into contact with like the toy animatronics, but maybe it's only pieces of them. They're just collecting shit.
Yeah.
The animatronic that they found, the real animatronic that they found, is Springtrap, still containing the decayed corpse and soul of William Afton.
Okay, at that point, his corpse would just be like bones.
It'd probably just be a skeleton at that point, but William is still in there. William, up to this point, has supposedly spent the last 30 years in that walled-up room in the derelict Freddy Fazbear's Pizza.
That fucking sucks. But he did it to himself, though, so I can't feel too bad.
Well, and also he killed a bunch of children, so, I'm not going to say I have any sympathy for him.
He fucking... What's that book called? The Cask of... I can never say it.
Cask of Amontillado? Or
yeah, I can never say it, but yeah, it's like that.
Yeah, that's basically what happened to him, honestly. He did it to himself. Anyway, so shit goes about how you'd expect. Michael is haunted by visions of specters over all the years prior, all while pursued by a loose Springtrap roaming the halls attempting to reach him. And you know what Springtrap looks like in that game.
He looks surprisingly good for 30 years later.
I know, right? Also, I heard a rumor that apparently the only reason Scott made FNAF 4 is because people didn't like the jump scare in FNAF 3.
Wait, what jump scare?
This is the jump scare. Springtrap honestly just kind of walks up to you and he's like... And that's it.
So bro made a whole another game to be like, fuck you. Here's another jump scare.
Yeah. He was like, well, that was an unsatisfying ending, so I'll just make another game.
No, it's because he wanted more money.
Yeah, you're probably right. So after a week on the job, Fazbear's Fright burns to the ground The fire presumably set by Michael to cleanse the world of all this nonsense forever.
Yes, because the only thing that could get rid of them is fire. Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Wait, so how many other animatronics were in there? Or was it just him and Springtrap?
It was just Springtrap and the toy animatronics.
Okay.
Supposedly the toy animatronics, but
it was mainly just Springtrap.
Mostly just Springtrap.
I can understand.
The toy animatronics don't matter anymore. Yeah. They're out of the story.
Okay, no, I can understand that setting. No, I get it.
But however, Michael's plan fails, and while presumably what's left of the toy animatronics are burned away, along with the rest of the attraction, William/Springtrap escapes the blaze. All the people that William has killed are yet to see justice, and none are at peace. So, I have a question for you. What the hell has William's old business partner Henry been doing all this time?
I thought he was just gonna, take some time, recover from the tragedy, be with his family, like a normal person.
Yeah, that is pretty much what he was doing. But now that he's old, he's an old man at this point. He's probably in, his 70s. He feels he needs to end things once and for all. It's time for FNAF 6.
Oh, we're just jumping ahead.
Also known as Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. But really, it's FNAF 6.
That's an awful name.
Well, the thing is, when FNAF 6 was released, it was released as a free game called Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator.
I do remember that.
And it was like this bait and switch thing where it looked like this, build a pizzeria, and then it turned into, a FNAF game.
No, I do remember that coming out.
Which was honestly kind of cool. But, so this is FNAF 6. Okay. So Henry hatches a plan to rebrand Fazbear Entertainment, as he is still in charge of it, one last time.
You don't need to do that, though.
And he opens a new restaurant.
Why? No.
You'll see why. Henry actually has a method here. You'll see what he's up to.
Okay, because I'm just really another... Who is greenlighting these restaurants?
Well, Henry, because he runs Fazbear Entertainment.
I know, but
Henry opens Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place, which is different from pizzeria. Just name something that isn't confusing once, please. Henry hires Michael as the nighttime security guard once again.
Zombie Michael.
Because I think Michael and Henry both have an axe to grind with this kind of place.
And they've probably been in contact somehow.
Yeah, I would imagine. So the whole existence of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place was constructed by Henry as a cover to lure in the remaining animatronics, which, as we discussed, are Molten Freddy, Scrap Baby, the Puppet, and Springtrap. And he succeeds in doing this via a bunch of sci-fi nonsense and a new animatronic made to house the Puppet named Lefty. It's all good. Don't worry about it. So all of the animatronics are here. Gang's all here, baby.
I'm just... all of these restaurants, I suppose, were in... We don't know what, state or whatever, but, they're all in the same, location area geographically.
I think supposedly they're all in a city called Hurricane, Utah.
Okay, great. So... I'm just picturing, this city is just, has had rogue animatronics just running around in the sewers and just walking into a pizza place, it's all good.
The animatronics end up in the back alley, and, they're not let into the restaurant, and it's actually Michael's job to, quote-unquote, salvage them. I forget what their reasoning is. It's it's so that people will think that, people are donating their old animatronics to this, place.
Yes, because everybody has an old animatronic lying around.
Well, because in the game, you're building a pizza place, right? You're collecting animatronics and salvaging scraps and building new ones. So that's, it's all a cover for that. And the animatronics make their way over. And now, so the gang's all here now. That's what's going on, right?
Yeah, no, sure, yeah.
You've just completely checked out.
No, I'm just trying to process things. Because there's a lot of, reasonings and stuff you're skipping over, obviously, and I'm trying to fill in the gaps.
Okay, well, no, there is reasonings, in the game that I can't remember, but if I explain everything, we're going to be here for 4 hours. So now that they're all trapped in the same place, Henry puts his plan into motion, and he torches the entire building with the animatronics, Michael and Henry himself still inside.
Well, yeah, Henry's probably gonna die anyway. Michael is not even living, he's unliving on borrowed time.
So there's a big old fire That's my fire. That's my very artistic fire interpretation.
Yep.
He condemns William to the darkest pits of hell and puts everything, including his beloved daughter Charlie, still in the spirit of the puppet to rest. And he puts an end to this entire horrific saga.
Yeah, I'm so sure because man, you're missing some games on that timeline.
Am I?
Aren't you?
Time for Ultimate Custom Night, which is also called FNAF 7.
Yeah, because I was thinking about your timeline, and I was like, I think you're missing something.
I just have a note here in my notes that's just in capital letters, because I think it was 4 a.m. when I was typing this. Okay, so Ultimate Custom Night doesn't have a lot to it, despite being honestly the most insane game in the series. It's technically only one night, but you can select up to 50 simultaneous enemies to fend off, several of whom were made up specifically for this game.
Yeah, no, I do remember watching some streams where people were playing this. Like, for some reason, that one interested me. Yeah. I think maybe because it didn't seem like there was a story. It was just people trying to speedrun and make it hard.
Honestly, I think it has the least amount of story. And here it is. You play as William, eternally trapped in hell, forced to face the torment of those he's killed and tortured throughout the years, condemned to die over and over again.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's also yet another Easter egg in Ultimate Custom Night involving a character named Old Man Consequences, who was present in FNAF World. We're not doing FNAF World.
Is it a book or a game?
It's a game.
Okay.
But don't worry about it, we're not doing it. Okay. But in this Easter egg, a Fredbear-type sprite approaches Old Man Consequences and is told to essentially chill the fuck out and leave the demons to the demons. And upon completing Ultimate Custom Night, a cutscene of a twitching Golden Freddy then plays, suggesting that the vengeful spirit of Cassidy, the girl who possessed Fredbear and Golden Freddy alongside Evan, is the one responsible for William's eternal torture. I also feel like it's worth mentioning, like I said before, that Golden Freddy was still around, but Golden Freddy also may or may not have been part of the amalgam that became Ennard and then like burned in the FNAF 6 fire. But it's fine. Everyone's dead. That's what's going on.
Okay, great.
Everyone's dead. Or are they? It's now time for the new era of FNAF, which is where I kind of draw the dividing line of this series being exclusively for children. And obviously there were elements of that before, I think, in like the more marketable designs of Circus Baby and the existence of FNAF World as a whole. But we're not doing FNAF World. I keep mentioning it, but we're not doing it. And also years sort of become less relevant now. Time for FNAF Help Wanted.
Okay, I've not heard of this one.
FNAF Help Wanted is the VR game.
Oh, there's a VR game.
Oh, yes. So years after FNAF 6, Fazbear Entertainment launches a new initiative. I guess Fazbear Entertainment at this point is like this billion-dollar conglomerate. Don't ask, I don't know how.
So this would be in like 2030s.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so everything that I've described up to this point, it still happened, but every FNAF game up to this point is now a video game within the world of the series.
Wait, what?
So this whole time, all of the FNAF games are video games within the world of the story as well, that are like a historical document.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
And those games were created by a fictional version of Scott Cawthon, who was a developer hired by Fazbear Entertainment. And he apparently went rogue and put in a bunch of Easter eggs signaling the true events of what happened.
I mean, yeah, okay.
You got that?
Yeah.
All right. So Fazbear Entertainment didn't like this. So to attempt to create another game to cover up and disavow Scott's games, they recruit you, the player, as a beta tester for this new game. And throughout the game, you come across various tapes that take the form of audio logs left behind by a previous coder of the game who details dev details like the game being moved from different companies, to the fact that the original developer apparently scanned the circuit boards of a bunch of animatronics to expedite the development process. So they took like the circuit boards of like, you know, the surviving animatronics, you know, the ones that like burned up in the FNAF 6 fire, and they just scanned those and put them in like the source code for their game.
Haunted game.
To like get basically haunted game. You've read enough creepypastas to know where this is going.
Yes.
So affected by this scanning process was apparently a tester named Jeremy. This is the third Jeremy in this
God
timeline.
Damn, Jeremy.
Now this is perhaps the same Jeremy who suffered the bite of 87 all those years ago. Probably not.
He would be old.
But perhaps. Anyway, he was testing the game at the time these scans were performed, and this caused him to lose his mind and become obsessed with the game, apparently searching for some rogue entity present within the game's code. A rogue entity that makes itself more apparent the more tapes that you, the player, listens to. So Jeremy gets fired, and the person who left the tapes that you're listening to takes over testing and coding, this like female developer who recorded all of these messages. She replaces Jeremy. And she eventually discovers the truth that all of the events of the previous games did in fact happen, and the details of the cover-up and like what the true nature of this game is. So after the player listens to all of the tapes, this rogue entity is fully manifested, and he wears...
I don't know. That one looks ridiculous to me.
Almost like it was designed with kids in mind, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. It looks wildly different from the other ones. That it's like, it's both not dumbed down, but like, it looks like somebody trying to imitate the Five Nights at Freddy's like animatronics.
Yeah, and this was, I think, the first game that had like a different development company.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's what I mean. It looks like if somebody made a shovelware version of FNAF and was like, this model looks enough.
You mentioned that because we're going to get to the shovelware soon. That's mean. But this is what the rogue entity in the game's code that becomes visible to you looks like. And it is a stitched up rabbit suit, golden rabbit suit, if you can call that gold. And it beckons you to join it on stage. Now this is the spirit of William Afton, who has now manifested into a computer virus.
Hell yeah.
He is now called Glitch Trap.
Sure.
Because he's a glitch, or a virus, I guess. So apparently when Springtrap's circuit board was scanned, so was some of William's remnant, or whatever. So now William wants to get out of the game and into a living being, apparently now on the hunt for immortality.
Die in the game, you die for real!
So the player, however, concocts a way with the help of Tape Girl to trap William in a prison in the game, which involves like hard resetting the game as William attempts to merge with the player's mind. Don't worry about it. So William gets trapped in the game as computer code, and he will never infect anybody with his poison again.
Until.
Except maybe some of that mind meld worked, as the player character dons a bunny mask, takes on the role of Vanny, and promises Glitch Trap that she won't let him down. Let me pull up Vanny for you real quick. So the person you're controlling now becomes Vanny. Yeah, the rabbit's hot now. Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry, why does she have tits?
You know, for kids. Bunny's sexy now.
Okay.
Yeah, so now it's basically like a Saw thing, where like we have someone taking up the mantle of the original killer.
At least Amanda in Saw, I can understand her reasoning. I get why she followed in his footsteps.
Well, the reason Vanny is following in William's footsteps now is because I think William like was able to merge his mind with hers.
No, he just wanted to be a sexy bunny lady.
Yeah, or that. That's what, just whichever.
You know, surprisingly, I thought there was going to be more than 15 deaths.
Well, give it a second.
Okay, 15 deaths so far.
All right, Five Nights at Freddy's security breach. Jesus Christ, when will it end?
I was wondering when we would get to security breach.
So with the success of Help Wanted, the video game in the universe of the FNAF universe, with the success of that, refreshing the Freddy Fazbear brand, Vanny notwithstanding, since she hasn't actually killed anyone yet, the company expands into multiple ventures. Like,
I cannot believe that this company It's still a fucking thing. Obviously, they had to do something like they might have been like leading a robotics company, but like.
And also, I guess the cover-ups worked, man. The cover-up worked because now people love them. So they expand into multiple ventures, like an animatronic pizza delivery system, which is covered in the augmented reality game, which I'm not talking about because it doesn't really matter. But they also build the biggest location yet, which is the Mega Pizzaplex, a comically large, stupid entertainment center built on top of the former site of the Five Nights at Freddy's 6 Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place, the one that Henry burned down. So it's on top of that. And surprise, surprise, people go missing again. So we're at the Mega
fuck you pizza.
Mega Pizzaplex double dick flip extra sausage extravaganza.
Ugh, I fucking hate that. That's some like Las Vegas casino bullshit.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly what it is. Surprise, surprise, people start going missing again. At least 9, according to a newspaper clipping in one of the epilogues of the game. So should we like tentatively add 9 more dead kids to the counter?
Well, is it dead kids or people?
It's people, but
make them green.
Make them green. Okay. These colors mean nothing, dude.
Yeah, they do. It makes sense because the 5 black ticks are the original like kids that died, right?
Yes.
Plus the Charlie, Evan, and Elizabeth.
Yes.
Whatever.
Wow, you actually are retaining a lot of this. This is good.
And then purple guy, and then Jeremy, which we made red because we were like, fuck it. Sure, whatever. Yes. Okay. Yeah, no, it makes sense. I'm following. I got a system.
Okay. So, some shit kid orphan named Gregory stays after hours one night.
Fuck you, Gregory.
Fuck Gregory. He's some... I'm going to pull up a picture of Gregory. Fuck this kid.
At this point, we're like almost 3 hours in, and I'm just like... Fuck you, Gregory.
Yeah, why do you gotta make this more complicated, you fuck?
Oh, wow, what a high-res model. I'm not used to this kind of character model for a FNAF game.
Gregory stays after hours one night after a performance by the new and improved glam rock animatronics, which ends early due to a glitch.
Okay, no, I have... Oh my god. Wait, there's a crocodile now? Alligator?
Yeah, there's a crocodile and a wolf.
Why is there a sexy wolf?
Ew. I don't know.
I don't... Okay,
it's explained. There's story. There's reasons in the game for it, but I don't think they're super relevant to the overarching narrative.
These models definitely made for the children.
Oh, 100%.
There is a glaring difference between.
Absolutely.
Oh man, Montgomery Gator. I love him.
Yeah, he goes by Monty in the game.
I love Montgomery Gator.
Yeah. Okay. So Gregory, with the help of Glam Rock Freddy. So you're working with Glam Rock Freddy in this game.
Okay.
He makes it back to the entrance, ducking the security guard Vanessa, but just misses the lockdown, which traps Gregory inside. Thus begins a wacky, scary adventure trying to escape the Pizzaplex while dodging Vanessa, who is also revealed to be Vanny. So let me put Vanny back up here, actually.
So these animatronics are trying to get the kid not killed for the other animatronic, who is in a computer.
Only Glam Rock Freddy is helping Gregory. And Vanny is a real person, but they are supposedly helping William, who is a computer virus.
Now.
And the other animatronics have apparently been hacked and attempt to kill any security threats like Gregory on sight. Except for Glam Rock Freddy, who assumes the role of a protector to Gregory because...
But then wouldn't they see him as a security risk?
Yes and no, because reasons. Shut up. Why Freddy protects Gregory and maintains a sense of like sentience is unknown. But one theory is that Glam Rock Freddy contains the soul of Michael Afton, who was killed in the FNAF 6 fire.
So his consciousness just stayed in their property and then just went into Freddy?
I guess. So
sure, whatever.
And apparently, Vanessa has a sort of split personality where, like, Vanessa the human is basically an empty mind for Glitchtrap to control. And he keeps Vanessa's true mind in haunted arcade cabinets for a game called Princess Quest, which are scattered throughout the Pizzaplex.
How do you take somebody who's still alive and split their conscious? What?
He put her in the sunken place from Get Out, I think.
But made it so she went into something else, though. Because at least in Get Out, they are in their own body.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Every time I have a somehow in here, I have 2 tildes beside it, where it's somehow.
God, I need a fucking nap after this.
So because of this split personality thing, what Vanny is up to is essentially being controlled by William and the glitch trap virus, as we saw at the end of Help Wanted. And all of the animatronics in the Pizzaplex have also been exposed to the glitch trap virus, which is how they were all hacked. And throughout the game, all the animatronics, including Freddy, begin to degrade, caused by Vanny essentially resurrecting William Afton through another animatronic that then saps all the life force and energy from the glam rock animatronics somehow.
But those animatronics weren't possessed by anything, apparently.
No, they were hacked by William.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
so then
was
how are their life forces sapped?
It's like their power and their
Then just
essence.
fucking plug into a wall, William. If all you needed was fucking power and electricity this whole goddamn time.
I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore, but we're almost done.
No, but listen. If these 4 were somehow still possessed by Michael and 3 of the other children, maybe Elizabeth is back in there, maybe and Evan, I suppose, and Charlie, the original 4. Maybe it was them, and then it would make more fucking sense if it was those 4, and then William's I need to sap their energy to make myself whatever the fuck he wants to do.
You know what? You might be onto something.
I'm going with that theory.
Maybe that is what's going on, and I'm
going to go with that theory.
And I had just given up by the time I got to Security Breach. Here's William as a resurrected Springtrap in the game.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Who is also now known as Burn Trap.
That's fucking stupid.
Oh, I wrote Burr Trap. Hang on, let me write a little N here. As this sort of life force sapping thing begins to affect Glamrock Freddy, Gregory resorts to hunting all the other animatronics to replace Freddy's parts that are crapping out on him, and he fully upgrades the bear while also...
How? He's a child-ass child. How does he engineer this?
Don't worry about it. He fights them in different parts of the Pizzaplex, and he does some video game shit, you know?
Yep.
Gregory also frees Vanessa's consciousness from Princess Quest, which allows her to abandon the Vanny persona and escape William's clutches.
Yeah, free her consciousness from an arcade machine that somehow goes back into her body.
And Gregory escapes the Pizzaplex with Vanessa and Glamrock Freddy's head, as his body is basically destroyed and his head is severed in the attack.
You don't need to keep the head. You don't need to keep it.
No, he keeps the head because Glamrock Freddy is nice and cool.
Yeah, but you're just gonna put it on your mantle?
I think they keep it in a duffel bag.
Why? For what purpose?
I don't know. There's also a theory that Gregory himself is a robot and contains the soul of the very first child to die.
Shut up.
That he contains the soul of Evan, which makes the whole game a family affair.
No, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. Stop. No. Absolutely fucking not.
No, the robot Gregory theory right now I think is mostly a joke, so watch it fucking become canon later. As of right now, it's just a theory. So that is Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. The Security Breach Ruin DLC.
What? It's still going. There's more?
This is the last one.
Scott, stop.
We're almost done. We're on the home stretch. Don't die on me now.
Okay, but Scott, go to bed. Take a nap.
Several years after Security Breach, the Pizzaplex has apparently closed and fallen into a state of disrepair.
Apparently.
Well, it looks like shit now. That's, Freddy Fazbear's, I guess, just can't shake the whole missing children publicity. And also, I guess it's the 2030s now, at least. Yeah, it's probably even later than that, maybe pushing 2040.
God damn, dude. How is this place still running with the climate change?
So this story has spanned at least over the course of 60 years at this point. Okay, so Gregory has apparently vanished recently, and his friend Cassie is apparently messaged by Gregory to meet him at the condemned building, which is doubly confusing because she's named Cassie, and we already have a fucking Cassidy. Name one character that isn't confusing, please.
There's so many other names, like Adam, Thomas, Timothy, Angela. Come on, Scott.
I just wanted to see how long you would continue naming names.
I could have, but I'm tired.
All right, so Cassie finds a walkie-talkie with Gregory on the other end, begging for her to come save him. So into the Pizzaplex she
They
ventures.
still have fucking walkie-talkies in 2040?
It's like a Fazbear Fun Time radio thing, but for all intents and purposes, it's a walkie-talkie.
I'm just gonna nitpick the shit out of these details now.
That's fine. I have a page and a half of this left.
Oh, fuck.
Cassie is offered by a helper bot the Vanny mask previously worn by Vanessa, which is, you know what? It's magic. Fuck you, it's magic. The mask is magic. It gives Cassie supervision, and it lets her basically travel into the digital world where she can omnipotently see everything and bypass obstacles in the real world. Fuck you, it's magic. I'm tired. We're both tired. We want to go home. So
we are home. I can't even escape this.
This is the home we've built for ourselves. Using the mask, though, before long causes Cassie to see a distorted entity appear that looks a lot like Glitch Trap. But both Gregory and Helpy, which is the helper AI in the Vanny mask, are able to hold it off for Cassie as she repairs...
There's a fucking AI in the mask?
Like I said, fuck you, it's magic.
When did that happen?
I don't. It just works.
Okay.
Let me put up a photo of Helpy.
Aww. I love him.
Yeah, that's Helpy, the AI helper in the Vanny mask.
Hell yeah. Okay, that is a children's marketing. Come on now.
They're able to hold off this weird entity for Cassie as she repairs the animatronics that she comes across, rebooting or deactivating them and freeing them from the entity's control, which she needs to descend further into the Pizzaplex video game shit. Anyway, this also includes a headless glam rock Freddy, who was apparently left in the Pizzaplex after the security breach ending. Cassie eventually makes it underground to the old FNAF 6 location underneath the Pizzaplex, which Gregory also was at in the original security breach. It doesn't matter. So she enters the area where Burn Trap was reanimated and finds out that the entity is a security AI named MXES, which she is able to shut down.
Is that like Elon Musk's new baby?
Good for her. I have not bothered to look up what MXES stands for. As she finally reaches Gregory, though, he's apparently trapped in a room that was sealed with concrete. And she discovers that it wasn't Gregory she's been communicating with at all, but an animatronic endoskeleton that was mimicking Gregory's voice, apparently named the Mimic.
Okay.
So the Mimic, as far as I can parse, is the reanimated Burn Trap body from Security Breach.
So it's endoskeleton.
Yeah, so this has become the Mimic.
Okay, but that's still William.
Well, we were incorrect in assuming that it was William Afton's consciousness in the reanimated Burn Trap.
Then why did you tell me that?
Because it's apparently a sentient AI that can replicate anything it comes across, whether it's data, memories, or physical objects. And since help wanted, it's been mimicking William Afton, who has in fact been dead this whole time. And now it's been mimicking Gregory with the hope that someone like Cassie will come rescue him and help him escape.
Shut the fuck up.
So it's at this time that the supposed real Gregory calls Cassie and instructs her to get the hell out of there. The MXES security AI that she turned off was apparently created to keep the Mimic in prison, but now it's free since Cassie shut it off. So now that the Mimic is potentially free and Cassie has escaped to the service elevator, with the mimic in pursuit, losing its arm in the elevator in the process, that's a problem because part of the mimic has gotten into the elevator. So Gregory says that they can't be followed, and Cassie's now a liability because she's bringing the mimic arm up with her. I guess Gregory is still on the run with like his new mother figure in Vanessa, trying to stay low and ensure all this shit gets buried forever again. So after Gregory laments that he knew Cassie was just trying to help, the elevator line is cut either by Gregory or the mimic, it's unclear, and Cassie is sent plunging to the depths, but will possibly embark on some sort of adventure to escape, accompanied by the sexy glam rock animatronic Roxy the Wolf.
No, I think that she'll fucking be reanimated into another animatronic, because fuck you. I'm pissed off. No, I'm so sorry. I know, shut up. I am pissed off that this whole... Mr. Afton wasn't even in the computer. It was just an AI. Yeah. They were like...
I think honestly, like Security Breach onwards, I'm only about like 60 to 70% sure I know what the fuck is going on. It's presumed that Cassie's going to go on an adventure with the sexy glam rock animatronic Roxy the Wolf. So unfortunately, no dead kids to add to the counter here. This is what I'm talking about, man. Not one confirmed death in the franchise since the end of FNAF 6. Unless you count the 9 that have gone missing that aren't really relevant to the plot at all. Which is such bullshit. We're done. That's the FNAF timeline up to this point.
Maybe.
Up to this point. So now is the big question. Will the movie adapt any of this shit?
So throughout this whole thing, I've been thinking, because I know that Josh Hutcherson, for some fucking reason, brings his sister?
Yeah, there's a child in the movie for some reason.
He brings a child-ass child. So I'm assuming that the animatronics, or like William maybe, is gonna target her. And that's all I got.
On it, like my note for will this adapt any of this shit from the game is just probably not.
Maybe a little bit from the first game, and that's it.
Yeah, honestly, it'll probably just be like Bear Robot moves around. And I genuinely question how much horror is going to be in this movie, but like I think it's honestly going to be more of a comedy, but we're going to have to see for ourselves. And now you're fully armed to go in and be like, what the hell? They didn't adapt the games at all. What is this pleb bullshit?
Yeah, but now we can go in and maybe they'll add Easter eggs and maybe we'll fucking see things in the background and be like, what?
Most definitely will. And like we'll be pointing them out to each other, but it won't be like the Mario movie where we're like excited about it. We'll be like,
it's going to be like,
oh my fucking God. So that's there, which means that this is canon, but then this might not also. It's going to be like that.
And we're going to be doing this in the back row while the kids in front of us are like, yes, Bonnie!
Yeah. Freddy!
I wonder how many people, like, because when we saw Mario, it was a sea of children.
Well, we also saw that, like, opening weekend.
Yeah, we're obviously seeing this opening weekend. What are you fucking talking about?
Yeah, you're right. Of course we are.
I'm trying to, like, just, like, let this marinate in my head of just like I was really out of the loop on the lore.
Like you knew a couple of things, but most of it you were just like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, because when the first and second games came out, none of this was really a thing, and then after that was like, oh shit, I guess we should put some lore and I guess we should expand. Whereas like when the first and second games came out, we were all just like, yo, let's try to get through the nights and, like, see the stuff and whatnot. Like, that's all I remember.
No, I agree with you. Like, honestly, this feels like the perfect example of how too much lore can just absolutely kneecap the horror aspect of a franchise.
That's the thing. A lot of horror, to me, is let me imagine the reasonings or explanations more so than telling me, because you telling me is going to be kind of way dumber or less scary than what I'm going to come up with.
Yeah, like the problem with FNAF especially is that like the games do like exist sort of in a vacuum and you can just enjoy them at face value, but so much of this community is about piecing together what the story is. And that's like what the community is. If the story was easy to parse, the community wouldn't be as big as it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, it's like, you can just stop.
Yeah, like, the first game was perfect. It was beautiful. Just creepy animatronics with the suggestion of child murder and maybe some ghosts. Like, mwah. It was it was great.
I don't want to shit on anybody that likes the games and like looks forward to the new ones coming out. It's just like, for me, I'm not interested because it's like going. It's why I don't want to start One Piece or like Dragon Ball. It's like, I don't want to have to get through all of that.
It's too much homework. The games themselves, they're well made. They're good games.
Yeah, that's the thing. Whenever I see people play them, it's like, yeah, no, they're fun to play. They're intriguing. But when you look more into it, it's just like, God fucking damn it, dude.
Yeah, and it's just this sense of like, once you have the real monster of your story turn out to be something like William, like a human who like breathes and farts and puts on their pants one leg at a time, like, just all the mystical horror to me just becomes so much more tangible, but like in a bad way.
Well, that's the thing. I thought, like, going through this, I thought it was just going to be like, guy kills children possess animatronics, and that's it. That's honestly what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that would have been a lot easier for me to tell you about.
But then I was like, what the fuck happens in all these other games?
What happened in the rest of these 8,000 words that you wrote down?
There are gonna be comments of like, whatever we missed. I know that.
1,000%.
If any of y'all can clear up anything, that would be cool. Just go in knowing that we don't know what the fuck we're talking about and we're trying to get ready for the movie.
And also, Ray's not gonna read any of your comments. I will, but Ray won't.
Yeah. I have crippling anxiety, so I ain't reading any comments. So anything that you have to say, sorry.
Do let us know if like we forgot, like if you can fill in any of the blanks we have on this stuff, because like.
No, honestly, if you can explain some of this, that would be great.
She said after a 3-hour explanation of the story.
Yeah, but at least I can read those on my own time. I'm not stuck here with my butt getting numb and this chocolate beside me that I really want to eat.
True.
But I didn't want to crunch into the microphone.
Yeah, I just want to wrap this up on the nature of like horror in stories and how I think too much lore can take away.
My thing as a seasoned horror watcher and lover is oftentimes there comes a movie, a game, or a TV show where the premise is awesome. It's great. Like Blair Witch, let's say. The concept was amazing. You didn't get told too much. It was pretty scary for the time. And like looking back, I understand why people are freaked out. The Exorcist. Pretty topical right now, where they've made a new one just to cash in, it seems, on the brand, the IP, and it's just like, it's all name and no substance. It's just, how do we get people to buy into this? Let's use this name that everybody knows, and we're just gonna fucking suck the life out of it. That's why there's so many Friday the 13th movies and Halloween movies.
Okay, but Jason X is a work of art.
They don't. Yes, you do have some gems in there, but it's just a thing of, instead of trying to make these new stories, it's how do we connect these stories to already existing franchises and somehow shoehorning them together?
Yeah, and we'll have to see if that's what happens with the FNAF movie.
I just want to see Josh Hutcherson trapped in an island pizza place.
You know what's more frustrating is that we're already seeing another horror concept get injected with a bunch of extra lore in the back rooms.
Oh my god.
And like, I don't want to blame the kiddos for everything, but like, it's definitely the kiddos.
Okay, but like, honestly, y'all, let the back rooms be a fucking liminal space. It doesn't have to be explained. It just is. Leave it alone.
That's what makes it scary. Yeah, we might get into the back rooms in a future episode, but let's call it here. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Don't get got, especially if you're working the night shift right now. Keep an eye out for rogue animatronics or overly convoluted stories that might be happening in your immediate area.
Don't turn on your fan too much. You're gonna flip the breakers.
Yeah, and then your blast doors will open and you'll fucking die. With that, good night.
Good night.